It was just another ordinary afternoon when the bell above the door chimed as David walked into the local grocery store. The fluorescent lights flickered above him, the shelves neatly stocked with every brand and color of product imaginable. It was supposed to be a quick stop, a few items for dinner and the week ahead. But what he didn't know was that this simple trip would alter the course of his day, and his life, forever. David, a single dad to a lively 6-year-old girl named Emma, had grown used to the rhythm of solo parenting. Life was often a balancing act: work, school, daycare, dinner, bedtime stories. Yet he always made time for moments with Emma. Today, they were preparing for a cozy night in, and his daughter had insisted they pick out her favorite snacks. As they turned the corner of the aisle, he noticed the line at the checkout counter wasn't too long. They could get in and out in no time. But something caught his attention as he approached the register. The young cashier, no more than 20, stood there scanning items. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably as she held the barcode scanner. David's eyes locked on her trembling fingers, the quiet vibrations in her movements undeniable. Something wasn't right. Emma tugged at his sleeve, eager to get their groceries done, but David found himself frozen for a moment. The young woman, noticing his gaze, tried to steady her hands, but the shaking continued. She forced a small smile, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. Curiosity got the best of him, and before he could stop himself, he spoke up. "Excuse me," he said, his voice warm yet concerned. "I couldn't help but notice. Why are your hands shaking?" The cashier flinched slightly at the question, her smile faltering for a moment. She quickly glanced around, then softly said, "Oh, it's nothing. Just nerves, I guess." She turned to scan the next item, clearly trying to brush off his concern. But David wasn't convinced. There was something deeper beneath the surface, something more than just nerves. After all, he knew what it felt like to carry a weight that no one could see. The fatigue, the quiet sadness, the moments when you had to keep pretending everything was okay even when it wasn't. He couldn't let it slide. "You sure?" David asked, his voice softer this time. "I'm not trying to intrude, but I can see you're going through something. It's okay to talk about it, you know." For a split second, the cashier's eyes met his, and in that instant, David saw something that made his heart ache, a vulnerability that went beyond the mask she'd been wearing. She hesitated, her hands still shaking as she scanned the next item, then finally, she looked up at him again. I don't want to make a scene," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm just struggling, that's all." David's eyes softened. He could see the exhaustion on her face, the kind of exhaustion that wasn't just physical but emotional. And in that moment, something told him that she needed more than just words. She needed someone to truly listen, someone who could understand the weight of her burden. Emma, still oblivious to the seriousness of the conversation, was fiddling with a box of cereal. David gave her a gentle smile and told her to wait a moment before turning back to the cashier. "I'm not going anywhere," David said quietly. "If you want to talk, I'm all ears." The young cashier blinked rapidly, as if trying to hold back the tears that were threatening to fall. She swallowed hard, clearly caught between wanting to remain professional and the overwhelming need to let it all out. With a deep breath, she set down the scanner and wiped her hands on her apron, trying to calm herself. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice trembling now. "It's just, my mom's been really sick. Cancer. And I'm trying to hold everything together. I'm trying to be strong, but some days, it's just so hard." David's heart sank. He had lost his own mother years ago, and he knew the pain of seeing someone you loved slowly slip away. He could only imagine what it was like to watch a parent struggle with illness, to balance work, family, and the emotional toll it took. The shaking hands, the constant worry, it all made sense now. "I didn't mean to burden you with my problems," she continued, her eyes brimming with tears. I can't seem to stop worrying, and it's affecting everything. I've been here all day, and I feel like I'm barely keeping it together. David nodded slowly, feeling a deep empathy for her. You're not burdening anyone, he said gently. You're allowed to feel overwhelmed. You're allowed to feel human. We all go through tough times, and it's okay to let yourself break down when you need to. The cashier wiped away a tear, and for the first time during the interaction, her shoulders seemed to relax a little. David smiled warmly, then glanced at Emma, who had been patiently waiting. She caught his eye and flashed him a big grin, reminding him of why he had to keep going each day. I know it's not easy, David continued, his voice full of understanding. But you're doing the best you can. That's all anyone can ask for. The young woman smiled through her tears, nodding in silent gratitude. Thank you, she whispered, her voice shaky but sincere. I didn't expect someone to notice, let alone care. It means a lot. David placed the items onto the counter and began to pay, but he paused for a moment. He looked her in the eye one last time before handing her the money. I'll keep you and your mom in my thoughts, he said softly. And if you ever need someone to talk to, just remember, you're not alone. The cashier's eyes shimmered with emotion as she nodded. Thank you, she repeated, her voice now steadier. You don't know how much this means to me. As David and Emma left the store, the bell above the door chimed once more, signaling their departure. Emma skipped beside him, chatting excitedly about the snacks they had picked out. But David couldn't stop thinking about the young woman behind the counter, her trembling hands and the weight of her story. In that brief moment, a simple question, a moment of genuine concern, had allowed a connection to form between two strangers. And sometimes, it's those small acts of kindness that can change someone's day, or even their life. As David buckled Emma into the car, he took a deep breath. He knew the road ahead would still be difficult for the young cashier, but he also knew that she wasn't facing it alone anymore. And maybe, just maybe, she'd find the strength to keep going. Call to action: if you were moved by this story, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel Whispers of Kindness. Your support helps us spread more stories of love, hope, and human connection. This story is a reminder that a simple act of kindness can go a long way. Never underestimate the power of your words or actions, they can make all the difference in someone's life. If you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Thank you for being a part of this community.